Welcome in everyone to another live post-game edition of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin. No Jimmy today. He's traveling and just too daggone pissed off to even get on this game after watching such a mess. But I'm here with you, and we're going to get through this one together. Thanks to DK for sticking around and helping me out. Appreciate it. But, man, this was a tough loss. Ravens lose 24-19. Did get a late touchdown, so the game appeared closer than it truly was, certainly in the second half, as the Eagles kind of pulled away and asserted their will. Man, that was a tough game, man. That was certainly a tough game. But before we get into it, and I see the Super Chats coming, and I'm certainly going to need you guys and lean on you guys for this one. But before we do it, let me mention the sponsor of this episode, BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted online betting platform and your number one source for online wagering. Has the earliest odds and the most in-game live betting. BetOnline provides you with constant real-time odds and action and the ability to watch and bet on the games as they happen, with the largest selection of odds from everything from football, NBA, college basketball, NHL, UFC, and boxing. Head to the website today to see why BetOnline is America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. And, yeah, look, the Eagles came into this game hot, and, man, they continued hot. I mean, it's just a shame, man, because it just seems like right now we're in this rhythm. It seems like when one issue seems to get corrected a bit, then either a bunch of other issues. It's like whack-a-mole. They whack one head mole down to fix one problem. It's like the penalties get a little bit better. Boom! The defense gets a little better. Boom! And then all of a sudden, the offense just is forgetting how to move the ball. Todd Monken and Lamar seem out of sync. The offensive line takes a step back. Ah, man, it was a tough one. It was a tough one. Tom Votto, appreciate the chat. Says special teams all around was atrocious. From Wallace to Stout to Tucker, all had bad games. Lamar also missed the wide open Wallace on that 4th and 8. Yeah, I mean, you said it, Tom. The special teams was a complete and total disaster today. 2 muff punts from Tylan Wallace. Luckily got him back, but 2 muff punts nonetheless. Missed extra point right off the upright. 2 missed field goals. I mean, it's getting worse and worse for the special teams. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's crazy to think that could lose you a game, but I mean, 7 points were taken off the board. Very makeable, not like 60-yard misses. No. These are makeable kicks. And it's like not only is there points coming off the board, but your whole strategy as an offensive play caller has to change. I mean, everything has to change when you lack confidence in your kicking game. And it's just crazy we're at this point. But you're right. I think there needs to be a serious conversation in this bye week, especially. It's bringing some competition in for Justin Tucker at the very least. Manny says Harbs is a special teams guru. Worst side of the ball today. Yeah, no doubt it was the worst. No doubt. I mean, they were bad. They've been pretty bad all year. I mean, one of the few teams to surrender onside kicks. They've done that twice. One of the worst kicking teams in football, if not the worst. It's hard to argue. And then Tylan Wallace, the sure-handed Tylan Wallace, is out there dropping kicks, letting balls bounce off his kneecap. I don't know what to say about this team right now. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, Manny. I appreciate the super chat. Manny goes on to say, starting to really doubt we'll have a game with both sides of the ball clicking. I know it's doubtful, but we need to find a backup kicker. I know it's like it's slim pickings out there, but you're right. They got to bring someone in. They just have to. This guy, his mental game is gone right now. You can't count on this guy to make a damn extra point, much less a kick that matters. I mean, it's a sad state of affairs with the Ravens special teams right now, and really their offense is regressing in a big way as well. I mean, it's just when the defense seems to start to try and get some things figured out. They were put in numerous unfortunate situations all game. And eventually they started to give way, but I'm about to throw the stats up here. They still held their own. Quan says, I'm calling every Royal Farms as we speak, F Tucker. Yeah, I mean, look, it's never a good luck when you're constantly popping up on television and you're underperforming the way he is. He's underperforming in a big, big way. it's tough to watch him right now. And look, it's like DK said before I hit record here. He doesn't know if he feels mad or sad for Justin Tucker, and that's really, I think, the opposite of what is the opposite of love and happiness isn't hate, it's indifference. It's sad. It's sad. Like, I don't even know if I feel bad, like mad or bad for this guy. They zoom right in his face when he misses. They get right in there, and he's just grimacing like and then he's getting high fives and pats on the back from his coaching staff. It's rough. Jeremy says Lamar won't run anymore. Tuck is washed. Now, there was a couple occasions where I was kind of thinking, but it's hard to see with the broadcast view what kind of openings he really had if there was a guy closing. But there were a couple where he overthrew a guy, and I thought he had an opportunity to maybe get some yardage. Yeah, man. I mean, you saw Zay frustrated at points in this game. This was a tough game for the offense and for the special teams. At times, the defense certainly struggled. It's like, dang, man, every game now, Kyle Hamilton's dealing with a stinger. It's just like, oh, man, it seems like a ticking time bomb for Kyle Hamilton. But, yeah, just not the kind of game I think a lot of people were expecting. Let me throw this depth chart up. Box score up here right quick and take a look. And kind of as we thought, like, look, Jalen Hurts isn't a guy that's really going to destroy you from the pocket. He had 11 of 18 for 118 yards, 1 touchdown. No picks, was sacked a couple of times. I thought, there was moments where we got some pressure, but certainly not at a consistent enough level. But 11 of 19 isn't going to kill you. Like, that's not something you go, oh, we can't overcome that. 1 touchdown, just 118 yards passing. And Saquon Barkley, guy that's been leading the league. This guy's averages like 100 in just the second half, it seems like. And really that same thing, that same kind of trend carried into this game where he didn't do much in the first 3 quarters. I mean, the vast majority of his 107 yards was just in the fourth quarter. So I'm not going to hang this as around the defense and say this was a bad defensive performance. When you look at what those 3 guys do right there, that's the 3 you got to control. Obviously, their quarterback, just like any game, and they did so there as well. Jalen Hurts does get something on the ground, but I mean, 9 carries for 29 yards. That's not crazy. What's that, 3 yards a carry? And then he had the tush push, which just looks unstoppable. And A.J. Brown, 5 catches, 66 yards. Had a couple, scary moments where you thought he might have gotten up out of there. But other than that, I mean, Dallas Goedert had a crossing route that looked pretty good. But, I mean, it was really just the failure of the special teams and the constant short fields the defense was forced to deal with because the offense and the special teams not doing their job. I mean, yeah, the stats look a little bit better towards the end because Lamar Jackson was able to get a 50-yard run and then the touchdown pass to Isaiah Likely. But this isn't the completion percentage we're used to seeing this year. 23 out of 36. Let me bring it to just the Ravens. That way we can see a little bit more. He ends up with a statistically decent game with 101 quarterback rating and 2 touchdowns to no picks. He's going to continue to build that touchdown to interception ratio and make it look more impressive. But I mean, I saw the first bit of that game. I know how it was looking. The offense wasn't moving. Massey says AFC Championship all over again. Long developing drop back passes when the run is working. This is why we can't trust Monken. Yeah, absolutely. Again, like there's times where Lamar's dropped back. He's got his feet set. He's ready to throw, and nobody's even out of their route yet. Like there's nowhere for him to go with the ball. And then, of course, the offensive line had moments where they couldn't keep him necessarily comfortable. So now he's scrambling. And there was times where the guys were open, but he's trying to make guys miss in the backfield. So he's not able to spot guys down the field. And yeah, it just looks like this offense is out of sync. Todd Monken was in his bag all season, except for a couple of games here, a couple of really moments here and there. But this game, it didn't seem to be go. I mean, look, 19 carries, 82 yards. It looks like the commitment was there to some degree, but just something felt, I don't know what it was. Something just didn't feel right with this offense. Raven O's Nation says, sorry, but it's time one of us admitted Nick Wright might be right about Lamar. He's a great player, but he constantly has meltdowns when it matters. I mean, look, I wouldn't say this game mattered more than last week's game. This is an NFC matchup, a big game in the eyes of like, because it's a 4 o'clock matchup and it's a good team against another good team. But I think he performed pretty well last week. And last week I would have considered a bigger game because it's an AFC matchup. But I mean, and then look at his Monday night. I mean, I don't know what his Monday night football numbers are off the top of my head, but I know it's something like 10 touchdowns to no interceptions. And it's phenomenal. So some big games he does play really well. And even last year in the playoff game, he had 5 touchdowns in the playoffs in the first round, the first round. But then lays a stinker in the AFC Championship game. So it's not all big games. It's some big games. They don't play. And look, he had moments where he played well today, but certainly the offense, the play calling didn't do him any favors. The offensive line couldn't keep the pressure off of him. And I thought Mark Andrews played well. Thought Mark Andrews made some tough grabs out there today. That trust you ball he just threw up in the end zone that was the first touchdown. I think that was a hell of a catch, vice grip tight grab by Mark Andrews as guys tried to pull the ball out of his hand. Tom Votto, appreciate the super chat. He goes on, he says Justin Tucker's second missed field goal. It was 4th and 5. I believe John Harbaugh has to go for it there. By that point, he'd already missed an extra point of field goal. I 100% agree with this, Tom Votto. I know this was like the 52-yarder. I was thinking the same thing. We got to go for this here. The way Tucker's kicking, he has no confidence. And I get to some degree what John was hoping to do there is maybe reignite some of that confidence by showing faith and sending him out there for a 50-plus yard field goal. But all he did, in fact, was kill it more, crush his confidence even more because he goes on to miss that one. So but do I have a ton of confidence we would have gotten it? I mean, better, maybe a little better than 50-50, but I don't go, we definitely would have gotten 4th and 5 at the same time, which is kind of sad as well. But look, the Bateman injury, I think, affected the team. Bateman going down early. It showed, man. It showed. It showed maybe Tylan Wallace and Nelson Aguilar. They're not what Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers are. They're just not. There's a step. There's levels, and they are obviously and pretty clearly now a level below. And that's okay as long as everybody stays where they, and can kind of stay in their lane. But when a guy goes down, man, it affected us, no doubt. Brandon Wyatt says, I said it before and I'll say it again. I do not trust John to make the right decisions, like putting in Deontay Johnson knowing Aguilar had drops. He needs to go after the season. Yeah, we didn't see Deontay Johnson at all, really. I mean, this guy is, I guess, in that doghouse that we hear about from time to time. But look, it's not like he's been out here making plays. He's been disappointing since coming over as well, albeit not a ton of opportunities, but still disappointing at times as well. So, and Nelson's made some big catches for us. He's made some big catches, but yeah, this was not their best moment on the outside, and it just scares the heck out of me because it just every time we lose, it looks like the same way that we lose, and that's just the scariest part. It's not. Yeah, it's always seems to be the same way. Tone the Virgo says, shake my head. I'm just going to say this. Bye week couldn't have come at a better time. Yeah, need this bye week. Coaches need this bye week. Self-study, self-analyze, got to figure something out. It's certainly it seems like they're starting to maybe turn the corner on the defensive side of the ball, but the offense is regressing. You don't want to peak at the wrong time, and it seems like they peaked at week 10. That's not what you want from your offense, so they got to refocus, and then the special teams, all options are on the table, including – but certainly not limited to bringing in another kicker. There better be another kicker, at the very least, lighting a fire under the ass of Justin Tucker. I don't know if that's going to help, if that's the type of push he needs, but they've tried the softer approach. They've tried the kid gloves. They tried we still love the guy. We still have faith. We still that's our guy. Well, that ain't worked. So maybe bring in some competition. Maybe that helps. I don't know. But I will say this. They're not going to find a great option out there. We have to hope to catch some sort of lightning in a bottle and get lucky, but it's not like Vinatieri's sitting on the free agency pile right now. Robbie Pate, appreciate the super chat, says, will the Ravens say bye to Tucker during the bye week? I don't think they'll say bye, but I think that at the very least they bring in competition. You got to. You got to see. I mean, I don't know if because it's not like you can't bring in a holder. You can bring in a kicker. you can certainly kick the tires on letting Josh Johnson try it, or somebody else who has experience holding the ball. Like, there has to be all options on the table. Like, I don't care what it is. You got to fix this. You got to fix it. This guy missed an extra point. That makes that extra point change strategy towards the middle part and later part of the game. It just did. Just that one. Not to mention the 2 missed field goals. Like, this is this excuse me, went down the wrong pipe. This is going to be a problem that we don't want to resurface come playoff time. If we even, I mean, look, I hate to say it, but if we even get there, the Steelers, big win today. I mean, beating the Bengals. I thought we had a good chance at the Bengals winning that game. We talked about how explosive their offense was and how, at times, even when they're winning, the Steelers don't look that good offensively. Well, today, Russell Wilson went out and put on a show. I think he had like 400 yards passing. If I remember correctly, I could be way off, but I know they put up like 40 points, and the Bengals, they're pretty much done, but the Steelers all but, I mean, it's going to be tough to catch them. Obviously, we have to beat them in our next matchup, but we need help as well. We need the Browns to beat them in this upcoming week while we're on bye. We need a lot to kind of go our way. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. But look, 6 catches and 6 catches from Mark Andrews for 67 yards and a touchdown. Isaiah Likely 5 for 38 and a tutty. I think those are the guys that really, I think, should have been targeted even more than they were. I know 8 targets and 7. I see that. But I think those guys were the ones that seemed to really, Mark Andrews was making big catch after big catch. Zay just something seemed to be off today between Lamar and Zay. I don't know what you want to call it, but it just seemed like something was off with their chemistry. It went, normally, it seems like they just kind of see things the same way and kind of always seem to react the same way. But today didn't seem to be, and it seemed some frustration was being shown from Zay. Not sure if that was directed at Lamar or the play calling or what, but man, that was a frustrating one. Let's see here. Oh, come on, guys. Come on, guys. I see we got some trolls in the chat. I love to see it. And look, Eagles fans have every right to be excited. They're playing really well right now. Roquan Smith, good thing to get him back out there. 11 tackles, looked fast, looked like he was healthy. And then Ardarius Washington continues to play well on the back end. 8 tackles, second on the team, including 2 tackles for loss. That's 2 tackles for loss for an undersized safety who's really came in and primarily replaced Marcus Williams, but obviously shown, hey, you can put this guy up by the line of scrimmage and he can certainly support the run, make tackles on much bigger guys. I saw him, wrestling Dallas Goedert to the ground at times, and even Dallas got up and kind of patted on the helmet like, good on you for being a much smaller guy and yet still making an impact. Marlon Humphrey had a nice blitz day. Was he wearing a hoodie? I was lost out there. I'd never seen Marlon in a hoodie before, but it looked like he had a hoodie, a hood hanging out of the back of his jersey there. And then Broderick Washington, nice sack today. He was much quicker looking than I've seen him this year. I don't know if he's just getting healthier or what, but he looked pretty quick out there. And Roquan kicked in that half a sack as well. So defense definitely turning the corner to some degree. But, man, the offense going the opposite direction. Kevin says, our defense impressed me. All we need is a wild card, and we can go all the way. Have faith. Well, look, there's no doubt. This team could catch lightning. They could get that swagger back, that mojo that they had for the first 10, 11 weeks of the season. And then with this defense getting better, if those two can kind of collide, then, yeah, absolutely. They got all the pieces. They got the talent. And we saw that the play calling, if lined up well with that talent and everybody it plays to their level, I think we can. You're right. It just, look, this is a talented AFC, man. You can't limp your way into the playoffs. You got to win some ball games. And it's not going to get any easier here on out. So a home game is never a game you want to lose, even if it is against a team that's won 7 in a row and is certainly one of the hottest in football. You still want to defend your home and beat all teams. But look, if you have to lose one game, I guess losing a game to an NFC team is the one you'd probably pick. But this is also, not a way you want to go into a bye week. I think that's a safe way to say it. Like, this is it's going to be a sour feeling over the bye week for hopefully all these guys. It's going to be some long nights for the coaches. Bronco, appreciate the super chat. He says, I know Lamar wants to spread the ball around, but sheesh, he had too many opportunities to take off and pick up easy yards. Also, why trade for a wide receiver one to bench him? Shake my head. Well, look, there looked like some opportunities for him to take off and run. There's no doubt. It looked like some opportunities. We know he's missed practices. I don't know if that's part of it, that maybe there is something going on with him health-wise. It didn't really look like it. Just looked like an unwillingness to run and more of an attempt to continue to look for guys down the field. But yeah, there was some times where it looked like he could have at least very least moved the chains and kept the drive going. And it's like, take that opportunity if it's there. And take your shots on the next drive or the next set of downs. But look, Deontay Johnson looked like a wide receiver one with Carolina. He has not looked like a wide receiver one with us. I think that's pretty safe to say. At the same time, you got to have opportunities to show it. So limiting his opportunities limits his chances of kind of showing that wide receiver one that he was just this season with Carolina. But yeah, getting benched, that's not a good look, man. It's not good, especially when, Bateman's down and there's an opportunity there. And we see it's Tylan Wallace and Nelson Aguilar. John says, and appreciate the super chat, John. He said, would you rather be an underdog Ravens that goes off and potentially wins the Super Bowl or a red hot Ravens that blows in the playoffs? Well, certainly, if given those two options, I'll take the Super Bowl. It's just as Ravens fans see it, when the losses always look the same is the scary part. It's like, when we lose, it's because of this. And this year, when we lose, the special teams is missing kicks, and the offense seems to shoot itself in the foot. Like that. Now, early on, the defense was a huge problem as well, but that seems to be getting better. But I'm talking historically here under this Lamar regime. When we lose, it's because our special teams has underperformed in the last 3 years, and our offense doesn't look right. They didn't look right again today. It's just, that's the scary part. But yeah, of course, catch fire and win the Super Bowl would be much preferred over a number one seed that's one and done. No doubt about it. Appreciate the super chat, John. Let's see. Kevin says, Ravens play best as underdogs, much needed bye. Yeah, I'm curious what the plan is for the bye week for the players. Like, do they just go, all right, when we get back, I'll see you next week? I except for guys, of course, that are voluntarily coming or if they're dealing with some injury and getting treatment. But these guys need a rest. I think this bye week, there is a such thing as a too late of a bye. I think this has been too late of a bye week. I think we need a bye week about 3 weeks ago. I had to be careful there. I didn't want to have that happen again. I had to take my time, be careful. But yeah, they need a bye week. This has been too long. I know everybody's saying fire John Harbaugh. Look, it's not a good look for John right now. You can't lead the league in penalties. I think it's fair to say the worst special teams in the league. Like, it's so crazy to say, but I think we have the worst special teams in football. Yeah, and when you lose, the head scratching, it's not like the players are, fumbling the ball. Although they did, I think today set the record or something like 5 fumbles and no turnovers combined by the teams, which is crazy. But Harbaugh's seat's getting warm. I think that's a fair statement to say. His seat's getting warm. You just can't have this many issues with a team that seem to be concentration, discipline issues, and just not have at least a warm seat. I think that's a fair statement. Let's see here. Keon has super chat. Appreciate the super chat, Keon. He says our defense won't sell us in the playoffs. Won't sell us? Okay. So is that a vote of confidence, I'm guessing, in the playoffs? Okay. I hope you're right. But it could be our offense or it could be our special teams like it was today. I don't think the defense was the problem. Defense did its job. I mean, we talked earlier about the let me just put that back up here real quick. What the Eagles did today, not like something where you're like, oh wow, I see why they won. It was really the defense of the Eagles and then the miscues from the offense and the special teams. Point blank. Jalen Hurts, 11 of 19, 118 and a tutty. That's not. I mean, look at this. Net 112 yards after the 6 yards lost for the sacks. I mean, 19 pass attempts and netted 112 yards. Like that's good. I'd be happy with that. 23 carries, 107 yards. It took him 23 carries to scratch out 107 yards, and that's with a 25-yard run. So that means, what's that? Let me see the math here. 82 yards on 22 carries if you take that away. Defense did congratulate y'all, did your job. You're forcing fumbles. You didn't jump on them, but you're out there forcing fumbles, making things a possibility out here. Jalen Carter, we talked about him. Combined sack from Bond and Jalinx. That's a pretty cool name. Jalix Hunt. That's a pretty cool name. Nolan Smith. I think he's a former Niner, right? No, it's Nolan Smith. I don't know where he came from. Keon, appreciate the super chat. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate the you guys watching as well, and your participation as always in the chat here. Pronounce rhymes with Alex. Okay, so Jalix. Okay, Jalix. That's a pretty cool sounding name, Jalix. It's a new one. I haven't heard that one. Jalix, cool. Good for you. I was always a little envious of names. Glenn isn't the most flashy name. I think that's putting it mildly. So I'm always envious when I see a cool name. But yeah, shout out to the defense today. You guys played well, played your ass off. Offense had moments, but again, I'm not going to get fooled by the late touchdown, the 50-yard run at the 39-yard run at the end, and then the late touchdown. I'm not going to be fooled into thinking that this was a good offensive performance. It wasn't. Special teams wasn't good at all either. Defense did their thing. Let's hope that something changes over the bye week, folks. We're certainly going to be here with you, keeping you, getting you through the bye week and keeping you up to date on all the news, whether that is an addition to the special teams department. If we do ultimately decide to bring in some kicking competition for Justin Tucker, I think something has to be done. I think some sort of change to that operation needs to be made immediately. Drastic changes. We can't do kid glove crap anymore with Justin Tucker. This isn't like he's missed one here and there. Now it's a critical, massive problem, like code red problem. So we need to see changes to that operation. Need to see a competition brought into that group. A deep dive into this offense got to be done by Todd Monken and this staff to figure out what the hell is going on. What are we going to be going forward down the line? Kevin Johnson, appreciate the super chat. Said the Ravens won a Super Bowl with a wild card before. Let's go. Yeah, no, they did. And they limped into the playoffs that year. I didn't forget that either. Like, they did not look good going into the playoffs and just absolutely caught fire. So it can happen. It can happen. But, man, I'd rather see us, catch fire now and hit the playoffs running and not just hope that we figure it out and that light switch can be flipped on. It's a little risky when you're going for the light switch technique where, you think you can just turn it on when the lights are brightest. But hopefully you're right. Jay Hunter says, talking about anything other than Tucker missing kicks is wrong. Those misses lost it for us, and we need to look at Harbs. Look to Harbs if he has lost the team. Well, I don't think lost the team is where we're at. Tucker missing those kicks doesn't have anything to do with Harbs. It's just Tucker. But yeah, I don't look at them him as lost the team. I don't see that. I do see Tucker's is a big miss. It is a problem. He needs something's got to be done. I don't know what it is, but holy, it's got to be done. Yeah. Hey, Massey said, hey, Glenn, how much blame do you give Lamar on those low percentage deep shots? Can he check down the run play or check out into a run play? He took a sack and Tucker misses. These things are connected. Yeah, look, we were 3rd and 5 on the 15. I remember it vividly. 3rd and 5 on the 15-yard line, and he takes a 15-yard sack and pushes that field goal to a 47-yarder. A 47-yarder should be easily makeable for the GOAT kicker, by the way. Let me just say that. But you can't lose 15 yards on 3rd down and make it a turn a 32-yard kick into a 47-yard kick at the same time. So certainly both have shares of blame there. He's got to get rid of the ball. And yeah, there was some missed throws. He missed Zay on the 3rd and 5. He missed Zay, threw it into his feet on the right side when they were trying to sneak that little from his own from his own territory. Yeah, I mean, Lamar missed throws. There's just no doubt about it. He missed throws and potentially missed opportunities to use his legs to convert and continue drives. It's hard to say because the broadcast view doesn't really show you all the potential defenders, but it looked like there was opportunities. Absolutely. So I give him blame as well. I give the whole offense shares some blame, except for, I don't know if Mark Andrews gets any blame today. He played his ass off, made some tough grabs. But yeah, there's a lot of the offensive line has certainly a lot of blame. Todd Monken has a lot of blame. Yeah, there's a lot of blame out there. But yeah, they got a lot to get corrected in this bye week. I hope that they use it and take any really drastic measures that they think. Because if you're a Super Bowl team, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. But I think I'm on the wrong mic. Give me 1 sec. Give me 1 sec. Are we there? Are we back? All right, we're back. All right, my bad, fellas. My bad. Thank you, DK. This is why, if it wasn't for you, I don't know how I would do the show. I would have been talking like a robot for 5 minutes. Tom Votto says, how about the missed throw to Likely in the first quarter? That would have been a 40-yard pass. Yes. How about the missed throw to Likely in the first quarter? Yeah. Both times. Yes. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't sharp today. Was not sharp. And even like the throw early to Mark Andrews where he jumped out of the gym to catch the ball and bring it down. I mean, not sharp. Not sharp. There's no doubt about it. And then there was some beautiful throws, though. That throw to the left corner where Nelson dropped it. It hit him right in the breadbasket. I mean, put it on the money, and it got dropped. So it's like, I mean, he missed some throws, but again, a lot of blame to go around. You mentioned earlier, I can't remember the super chat, but mentioned the Nelson Aguilar drops. Yeah. Like, it just seems like it's everyone. Yeah, please hit the like, guys. If you, I got 2 likes, 500, 600 people in here. Appreciate the likes and appreciate the hype up in the chat. Nunya says, Nunya Beeswax. I love it. Lamar buys time so much. Y'all take it for granted. The D-line and the Eagles were in his face every play. Yeah, I mean, no, I think the offensive line certainly deserves blame. We talked about it a ton. Roger Rosengard had moments where he looked really soft and he just looked bad out there. Now, credit to them to some degree for the penalties not being horrible, I guess. But because I think Ronnie and McCary are the number 1 and number 2 guys as far as getting penalties called on them in the year. But yeah, no, a lot of the issues with Lamar passing certainly stem from a lack of trust of the offensive line, pressure from the defensive line of the Eagles, no doubt. No doubt. That's why everyone, I mean, there's so much blame to go around. I mean, the whole offense outside of maybe Mark Andrews, it's hard. I'm trying to think of some other guys that deserve no blame, but there ain't many on the offensive side of the ball. Again, defense played well, special teams and offense let them down today. Coaching staff certainly included in that. But I think that's going to be it for me tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I think everybody was able to kind of get some stuff off their chest. I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. We will, of course, be back in just a couple of days here to keep you up to date on all the Ravens news and notes from over the bye week, let you know what's kind of happened, if there's any transactions, if there's any switch ups or change ups with personnel or anything like that. We will keep you up to date on all your Ravens news. Appreciate you guys coming out. That's it for us tonight. See you.